Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is the latest Manchester United transfer news for you as we get headlines that Barcelona no longer need to sell Frenkie de Jong. What does that all mean? And Cristiano Ronaldo's transfer plea consists, as well as links to a Bayern Munich defender for Manchester United. All the latest news reaction on the United Stand every morning at 10 a.m, as you know. Andre says Ronaldo fanboys are not United fans. Love the comment, Andre. Absolutely love it. I can't believe how much I love a comment where somebody is so sanctimonious and up their own arse that they tell people they're not a United fan. I mean, it really is one of my favourite things to start the day off, being told you're not a proper United fan. I mean, when is this book getting released, Andre? Because it seems to me that it's a secret society book. There's this book out there on how to be a real United fan that many people seem to read because they tell us all the time what a real United fan is. But nobody will bloody put it on Amazon. Where can we buy it? How can we learn to be real United fans if you don't show us the book? But, yeah, it's interesting how you're not a proper United fan if you like Ronaldo, isn't it? You know, Ronaldo who won a Ballon d'Or in a United shirt, Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and yet we're meant to back people who've won sod all over him. Great idea, that is. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Look, the first thing I want to talk about here is something very important. We can talk about all that crap a little bit later. But let's talk about the news. That's what we're here to talk about on a news show. Amazingly, there are still some people that don't understand what a news show is, that we actually give you the news and then react to it. So here it is. We put it on the screen now because people were struggling with it. Some people were really struggling when we spoke about the news, saying that we were making it up. So we put it on the screen now so you know where it's coming from. So Barcelona will not be obliged to sell United target Frenkie de Jong should they activate a third lever. This is coming from Gerard Romero. Third lever. I don't know. Got more levers than a train. I think that, Jim Jam straight away with a super chat, fair play, says, I am done with this saga. I'm sick of hearing the name Frenkie de Jong. It's like a broken record. We should have moved on ages ago. Are you still 90% sure? You know what, Jim Jam, you've done exactly what I feel like there. I'm so bored of it. I'm so bored of de Jong. I wish we'd move on. Are we still signing him? And that's basically, that's what I do every day. I'm bored of the saga. A story comes out and you get sucked back in. I am still 90% Jim Jam. But what I would say about this story is I think it's complete nonsense. And I think you do need to... This is why it's good to discuss the news collectively, because you can assess it and say, is it relevant? And I don't think this is relevant at all. So look, apologies to Barcelona fans first of all. But I think the headline is, for Barcelona to activate their third lever, they're basically selling off more rights to keep Frenkie de Jong. That's basically it. You don't need to activate your third lever. The reality with Barcelona is this, and I may get this slightly wrong. These levers basically bring money in. That's what happens. So they've done one lever. I don't know what that was to do with, but they've got a load of money coming in. I think it's to do with TV rights. So they brought a load of money in, which allowed them to get Lewandowski and Rafinha. There's another lever today, the second lever, which I believe is to bring more money in again, and I think one of the levers is giving up 25% of their TV rights for 25 years or something like that. So they get about 330 million quid for giving up 25% of their TV rights for 25 years. So it's not free money. You are going to lose out, but you know, the more let's be honest, TV right deals are going up anyway, so they probably won't lose out. It's a way of getting a bit of money in. So that second lever will hit today. That will probably allow them to buy Koundé. But the problem that Barcelona have is not necessarily bringing money in. It's about this issue they've got with La Liga and their wage bill. Their wage bill is huge and it's getting bigger. I believe they can register the players, but there's a problem with that wage bill. They need to bring it down. Now, the third lever would potentially bring more money in. I think this is to do with selling Barca Studios or something. They sell like 49% and they get another couple of $100 million. Now, that's what Gerard Romero is talking about. He's talking about this third lever. So basically, let's just say 3 tranches of money. They've had one already. This has allowed them to buy Lewandowski. The second one is apparently going to come in today. And the third one would be to bring even more money in. Many Barcelona fans don't want them to do the third lever because they're like, why? We've got the money to buy the players we need this summer. We need to sort the wage bill out. The third lever might allow them to sort their wage bill out and keep Frenkie de Jong, but that third lever is still selling off assets that they probably don't need to do. I personally feel with this that with all things coming out, what keeps you 90%, says Jay, because these sort of things that come out are I don't think it shifts the needle. In fact, if I'm honest with you, I think this sort of thing comes out to threaten United to move quickly. And maybe we should move quickly, because maybe they will go for a third lever and then he will stay. Maybe Barcelona's threat has some substance to it, but I take it as a threat. I don't think Barcelona Football Club or Barcelona fans really want to activate another financial lever just to keep Frenkie de Jong. I don't think that they want to do that. So I may be completely wrong on that, but I don't think that that's what they want to do. Would you rather Anthony and Tielemans or just de Jong, says IVI? I mean, I'll let the chat decide on that, because I don't really deal in those sort of hypotheticals which won't actually happen and I've got no control over. I think de Jong's very important to Erik ten Hag. But I do want Anthony. Top Reds coming after Goldbridge for Maguire boos. It's hilarious, says Victor. Maybe I'm a pessimist, but I don't get the 90% comes from we were all but set on Sancho, so close you could touch it, still messed it up, says Aaron. Well, that's why there's a remaining 10%. Barca are knackered by fair play, says James Breen. So let me come back to those things in a moment, but essentially this story this morning that we're talking about, which came from Gerard Romero, who in fairness, Gerard Romero was the one who broke the de Jong to Manchester United story way back in 2001. It was May. And so you've got to take notice of him. He does talk a lot. You could say he does talk a lot of something else, but he does talk a lot. And he is saying that they will not be... They don't have to sell Frenkie de Jong if they get this third lever, which isn't actually true anyway, because even if they get more money coming in, they've still got to negotiate with La Liga over this rule that they've got around financial fair play and their wages. That wages still needs to come down. And also, I think responsibly, if you bring more money in and you don't start... I mean, put it like this. Simplest way to put it is like this, right? Man United have got a wage bill of £100 million. The Premier League say you're not signing players until you start reducing that wage bill. So what we do is we go and get two big loads of money, the levers. We buy some players, and then we go to La Liga and say, we've got all this money coming in. Can we register these players? And they go, but your wage bill's still massive. You need to bring that wage bill down. Okay, we'll go and get a third lever. We'll go and get some more money in. Will you let us register players now? Well, yeah, you've got money in the bank. I can see that. But your wage bill's still stupid. Like, all right, register the players. Keep Frenkie de Jong. Your wage bill is massive. It's stupid compared to everybody else's. And it's irresponsible. You shouldn't do that. They might agree to do that. La Liga might agree with it. Barcelona might agree with it. But if I'm a Barcelona fan and I'm the Barcelona president, I've got to get that wage bill down. Like, it's not about let's keep everybody. Their wage bill is immoral. It's too big for Barcelona. Barcelona fans know this. So, by all means, go and get third lever, fourth lever, fifth lever, but you're still not reducing your wage bill, which is what you've got to do. And how do you reduce your wage bill? You get rid of some of your big wage players, which is what they want to do with Frenkie de Jong. I think they can activate as many levers as they like. They can buy as many players as they like, but it's still adding to a squad that's too big and too expensive. So Frenkie de Jong, that is why I remain 90% that he will leave Barcelona, because for all the levers, you're not reducing your wage bill and you're not reducing the risk. What if Barcelona have a bad season next year? What if they get knocked out in the Champions League group stage? I know it won't happen, but what if they do? What if they're not in the top four next year? They'll basically be bankrupt. So they need to act more responsibility. Look, sign Lewandowski, sign Rafinha, but you've got to sell players as well. And that's why I remain 90%. I think this is just pure game playing, because we have agreed a fee with Barcelona. They want that fee, and de Jong is the problem who doesn't want to leave. If we get de Jong, then it will strengthen our midfield massively, especially for our technical players like Sancho and Martial, says Lewis Clark. Thank you very much. Also, I will come back to a super chat there that I feel like I need to. Hi Mark, how are you? No one ever asks that, Sharon. Probably the most sensible thing you've asked. I'm not sure I can put up with you, Sharon, in the morning. Let's hope you've sobered up from last night. But yes, I remain 90% on Frenkie de Jong. I know some people don't like that, but I do. And I think that explains well the situation. I'm not saying that Barcelona aren't going to do a third lever, but what you're going to do, just keep adding to your wage bill. They know they need to sell players, and Barcelona fans know they need to sell players. They need to reduce that wage bill, otherwise they could be in this problem in a couple of years' time. Because you know what? Lewandowski, he's in his mid-30s. He might start to drop off. Rafinha might be a flop. Kessie could be a flop. You know, Barcelona fans will tell you that there's no guarantees. Hi Mark, I think it's about time United start to be ruthless. Give a time scale. Well, I said this last night, Dasbo. We can act more responsibly. Of course we can. If income is high, wage bill goes up, says Pratam. And look, it sounds good in your head, Bridge, but he will stay and move on, says Thee. Mate, I'm really not sat here saying he's definitely going to wear a Man United shirt. And I'm not saying it because I'm obsessed with him, and I'm not saying it because I even think he's the right signing. I'm looking at it pragmatically. We've agreed a fee with him. I'm convinced there's been conversations between De Jong and Ten Hag, as is everybody. And also, I think this is about the money he's owed by Barcelona. And I think that's the situation, and that's why I'm 90%. The people who tell me he's definitely not coming, your club's in the mud and all this, I mean, it sounds to me like you're getting a lot more hyped up about it than I am. I mean, I'm quite relaxed about this. I'm 90% sure he'll sign for United. I'm almost 100% he'll leave Barcelona. Maybe there's a slim chance he would go to Chelsea, but he'll leave Barcelona because they need to sell him. So let's just wait and see what happens. But some people are absolutely hyped about this. Mark, let it go. See, like Ivan Whelan, let it go. He isn't coming, mate. But why are you so bothered about it? Like, you don't know anything even. You've got absolutely no idea. You're just predicting. I'm not predicting. This is not like Sancho. I really wanted Sancho. I really wanted Bruno. With De Jong, I don't really want... You know what? If I'm honest, I don't really want De Jong. I'm not bothered. I don't not want him, but I'm not obsessed about get that player. We need a midfielder, and he's better than everything we've got, and I think he'll be a great signing. I want us to sign him because it's De Jong. Ten Hag is obsessed with him. But, you know, we've got some people who are just weird. Like, it's not happening. Let it go. He's not joining your dead club. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I actually know stuff. And actually, if you read things, you'll know stuff as well. He's not coming, isn't he? He's not coming, right? All right, he's not coming. It's completely ludicrous to think he's coming, isn't it? Considering he's been talking to Ten Hag all summer. Considering we've agreed the fee with Barcelona. Yeah, he's not coming. He's definitely not coming. It's so logical to say he's definitely not coming. How many players have been on tours and still moved? Like, I still think he's leaving Barcelona. I'm very, very confident about it. Don't sleep on Arsenal this season. They look good, says Ryan. Ryan, we're winning the league on pre-season form, so don't sleep on us. You know, we're both going to be wide awake by the sounds of it. Let's just talk about Ronaldo then. I will talk about this. So that's the situation with De Jong. If you want to panic about leavers and stuff like that, the reality is they're not doing anything about their wage bill. And no amount of money that comes in reduces your wage bill. And I think that's a very logical thing to look at. Barcelona, Man United, we can bring as much money in as we like, but you don't reduce your wage bill by bringing money in. You just give yourselves money to pay your wage bill. If my wage bill is £100 million a year and I get 300 million in investment, in 3 years, I've just paid 3 years of wages. And then in year 4, I'm still paying 100 million. What Barcelona need to do is get money in and reduce the wage bill. Because otherwise, that money that comes in is just paying the wage bill for the next 3 years. And that's the way to look at it. So I'm not worried or scared about Barcelona bringing money in, because all they're doing is using that money to buy more players, increase their wage bill, which is going to increase how quickly that money gets spent, which they're effectively borrowing anyway. They need to reduce their wage bill. The next thing I want to talk about is from Marca. Man United are beginning to think there's no other solution than to say goodbye to Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, this is quite interesting because there has been a few stories overnight coming out, a few WhatsApp messages that I've seen and been part of, and a little bit of update around Cristiano Ronaldo. Mark, look at Araujo last January. They're joining their next thing. He gets an improved contract, then stays, says Ivan. Yeah, I don't think that's got anything to do with this. The longer the wait, the more the anticipation. Araujo's contract was going to run out. He had no value. So it was in Barcelona's interest to renew his contract. Frenkie de Jong's got years left on his contract and he's worth 70 million. The longer the wait, the more the anticipation builds and the likelihood the transfer is a flop, says Aram. Irresponsible to put season on one player. Well, I do agree with that. Hi Mark, just want to ask about Akanji. What's the latest? We've not been looking at Akanji for months. Akanji was a player that was recommended by Rangnick back in February. We spoke to him. He was interested and we basically said we just need to see who the new manager is going to be, and then if he's interested we'll come back. And Ten Hag was not interested, so we never went back. That's what happened with Akanji and a few other players, to be fair. So the situation with Ronaldo is that, look, I like Ronaldo. I want Ronaldo to stay. I don't think that doesn't make me a United fan. I don't know why that doesn't make me a United fan for wanting our player of the year and best player to stay, who wants to leave because the club is showing no ambition, which all of you actually agree with. I can't get my head around get out my club Ronaldo because he wants to leave because there's no ambition. And then you look at these people timelines. Glazers, piss off, Arnold, you're rubbish because you've not bought anyone. Where's the ambition? So, Ronaldo is effectively saying what we're saying, and he doesn't want to put up with it. Charlie Max, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. So the situation with Ronaldo is that I'm 50-50 on Ronaldo. He absolutely wants to leave. You can call it a transfer plea, whatever. It's a transfer request. He wants to go. And United are saying no. And in many ways, United's efforts to keep him have been good, even appreciated by Ronaldo's camp. They're very appreciative of how much effort Manchester United have put in to keep him at the club. But nothing has changed from Ronaldo's side. Like, in fairness to Ronaldo, since he put the transfer request in 2 weeks ago, they've bought nobody that's going to make Ronaldo go, well, this club's ambitious. Eriksen's a good signing, Lisandro Martinez is a good signing, but it doesn't make a massive amount of difference to the midfield or the attack, which is where Ronaldo will benefit. And it doesn't make a massive amount of difference to ambitions to win trophies. On top of that, obviously the style of play is interesting, and that is something that Ronaldo has never had an issue with. He likes Ten Hag. In fact, Ronaldo was very much intent on being a Man United player this season when Ten Hag came in May, and they had a conversation. And he knew we weren't in the Champions League, which is why this is only leaving because we're not in the Champions League thing is a load of bollocks, because he was staying. The reason Ronaldo's changed his mind is because in June, him and Mendes have had a conversation, and Mendes has said, I'm going to look around and see what's available. And Ronaldo has looked around and seen no signings and no sales from Manchester United, and just made a calculated decision that he's 37, he's got hardly any years left at the top level, he's on the decline already. This could be his last year in the Champions League, and Man United aren't going to be in it, and they're not going to be competing for anything. And the lack of ambition from United has made his mind up. I don't think he was that bothered about not being in the Champions League that he wanted to leave back in May, but the lack of ambition from United in June has basically triggered Ronaldo so much that he's decided he wants to leave. And that is still the stance right now. Where we go from here, I mean, I sort of agree with that. I think it's very hard for Manchester United to win this battle, but win this battle is what we must do, because I focus in on what Erik Ten Hag said. He said he's not for sale, and we're planning for having him next year. That's something that I think is still really important. Look, anybody who's got any problem with Ronaldo saying we've got no ambition, anybody who's got any problem with Ronaldo saying we're not prepared, I'll put this to you. We announced as a football club on June the 1st. June the 1st, they put it out there that Pogba and Matic were leaving. That is 6 weeks ago. And they knew before that. But they officially told everybody that Pogba and Matic were leaving on June the 1st. In fact, Matic told everybody way before that, didn't he? He announced it in April. We had a really shit midfield last year. We had our options were McFred, Matic and Pogba. We still haven't replaced Pogba and Matic. Like, we literally haven't replaced Pogba and Matic. Garner, well, he's not even played in pre-season, so how do we know he's a replacement? Donny, I mean, can he even play there? So don't tell me that Ronaldo should be hopping and skipping back to pre-season saying, let's do it, lads. Like, he's as concerned as you are. And we are 2 weeks out from the start of the season, and we've bought no midfielders. We've not improved our midfield. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? And everybody has every right to have every decision that they want to make and every opinion they want to make. But I would argue with anybody that Ronaldo's stance is absolutely spot on. If you're an ambitious player who wants to win things, Man United doesn't look like it's going to do that for a few years yet. Look, we might win a Carabao Cup, we might win an FA Cup, but to be fair, look at the FA Cup and Carabao Cup final last year. It wasn't bloody Southampton versus Brighton, was it? It was Liverpool against Chelsea, two of the best teams in the league. These trophies have become more and more important because Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City know that they're not going to win the league every year. They're not going to win the Champions League every year. So if you want a trophy, you've got to take the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup seriously, which makes it increasingly hard for us to pick up a trophy. Look, there's many different strands to this. I'm very positive about Erik Ten Hag and some things, but I'm very not positive about the way the club has handled this summer transfer window. And I actually think if they'd handled it a lot better I think Ronaldo would be in training. Well, maybe he wouldn't be in training because there's personal issues, but I don't think the transfer request would be there. I'm absolutely convinced that Ronaldo, he wants to leave Manchester United because of the lack of ambition shown in June, where that board basically, I know Richard Arnold sat in that pub and said John Murtaugh's working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, but I seriously think John Murtaugh didn't tell anyone he'd lost his password and just pretended he was working because he didn't want to out himself as a prat. Because what he did in June, God knows. Like, we completely wasted that month. We didn't buy anybody. We didn't sell anybody. We let the world know that we'd let Pogba and Matic go. We've not prepared well for this season in relation to transfers. I think Ten Hag's prepared amazingly well for this season. The discipline, the coaching, the difference in performance in pre-season to the end of last season. He's working miracles on the training ground, but we're not even opening up our bloody email, are we? In the boardroom, it's an embarrassment. So, yeah, I think, but I do think the Ronaldo thing is going to have to come to a head very, very soon. Mark, keep up the great work. Your passion to deliver great content for us, the fans, is brilliant. This is the best channel for the best community, says Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. Big shout out to the community as ever. Mark, I'm truly devastated. You were the pioneer for the boos against Maguire, and I'm disappointed, says Sugar. Yeah, well, as I said last night on Twitter, I've put my emails out to all the Australian fans. Being as I did organise the booing of Harry Maguire last time, even though I don't agree with it, I put an email out, and you'll be very surprised who we're going to boo on Saturday. I've also asked for Neighbours not to be cancelled because for some reason I'm the Australian Prime Minister and I can tell everybody in Australia what to do. So yes, we're going to stop cancelling Neighbours. That's definitely going to happen as well. Interestingly, just on that point, you know what? I actually was thinking about it and I tweeted it this morning. Look, I've said this before. Life, I live life to a rule of the traffic light system. There's angry red, there's positive green, and there's amber in between. And it provides balance to my life. I'm not always negative, I'm not always positive, and sometimes I just sit in the middle and think about things. Some people are always positive, and that's great, but you'll come across as naive at some point because life's not always positive. Life's shit at times. We die. That's not a positive always, is it? So being positive all the time is ridiculously naive. Being negative all the time makes you very, very angry. If you don't have the amber, you don't have the balance. And I think that, what makes me laugh is that I'm the first to admit I'll contradict myself because that's life, especially football. I mean, the fact that people take clips or tweets from people 3 or 4 years ago and then hold them to it. I mean, realistically, social media is not dangerous because of trolling or hate or anything like that, because that's identifiable and it can be dealt with. What I find the most dangerous thing about social media is this absolutism, where people actually have a pop at people for not being positive all the time or for being negative all the time, because that's not life to me. I live my life to the traffic light system. Sometimes I'm positive, sometimes I'm negative, and sometimes I'm on amber and I'm thinking things through because that provides balance, and I think that's what society should be. I think social media is becoming about red and green and nothing in between, and therefore it creates lots and lots of division. But the point I was going to make is this whole Harry Maguire thing. He literally, a few weeks ago, liked to post on Instagram slating Ronaldo. As captain of the club, he liked to post on Instagram slating Ronaldo. He didn't even apologise for it. He said it was a mistake. So let's not pretend he hasn't done anything. But also, a lot of people don't want him to be captain. He was the captain last year. We were absolutely crap. He was crap as well. I don't agree with the booing, but maybe people have reasons for it. It's not just because he's tall or he cost 80 million. People might genuinely want to express their frustration at that player. I don't agree with it. I really don't. But I didn't agree with Pogba in April, but here's an even better one. Anthony Martial against West Ham in January got booed. 100% at Old Trafford, he got booed in that game. People are trying to sweep it under the carpet because they all like Martial now. Anthony Martial got booed at Old Trafford against West Ham. 100% happened. He came on, he played really well, and his actions led to the winning goal. For the last however many years, I've heard Martial be described, not only by some of our fans, but also by ex-players and the media, as lazy, bad attitude, sell him, get him out of the club. For years. And maybe that bullying, which it's not bullying, it's an opinion, by the way, but this is what people want to call it. Maybe that bullying, when you're calling somebody lazy, bad attitude, sell them, not good enough, maybe that bullying led to him being booed in January. Maybe that unfair, toxic attitude towards Martial led to him being booed in January. I don't remember many journalists coming out, and I don't remember Martial coming out with any PR about it, and I don't remember the club coming out about it, and I don't remember loads of journalists close to the club coming out about it. No, Martial got nothing. He went off on loan to Sevilla, no one ever bloody mentioned it. It happens to a different player. Oh my God. There can never be a reason for this player being booed. No, he's an English player. There can't be a reason for it. It's just online idiots. That's who's to blame. Online idiots. International fans who get their opinion off social media. That's what one journalist said. And I just sit here and I sip my coffee and I laugh at the world we live in, because I'm like, this ain't a fair world we live in. This is a bloody dictatorship. This is an agenda. If it's a player they don't want to be booed, out everybody as a bully. If it's a player they do want to be booed, don't mention it, it's fine. You know, it doesn't matter if an ex-player's been on telly calling him lazy, which is actually a very derogatory term to any footballer of any background. It's a derogatory term anyway to call somebody lazy, because that's basically the lowest of the low, really. Calling a footballer lazy is low. I wouldn't like that. But just remember, when you're listening to all these journalists and everybody else taking a pop at people, blaming people for a few fans in a ground booing a player, which was very pantomime anyway, Anthony Martial, who suddenly everybody is saying, oh yeah, Martial, I've always liked Martial. Yeah, Martial, yeah, he's a good player, Martial. You're a liar. You're a liar. There's not many people who stuck by Martial. There isn't. And he got booed back in January. So what's the lesson there? The lesson is, if people want to boo players, let them do it. If you don't want to boo players, don't do it. But don't tell people that it's wrong to do it and you're not a fan and you're this, that and the other, when, you know, a lot of people have said a lot of bad things about Anthony Martial. And a lot of these people, whether they're journalists, ex-players, fans, or even the club themselves, coming out and saying, oh, you know, it's not right that Harry gets booed. You didn't say sod all when it happened to Martial. You didn't say sod all when it happened to Pogba. So all we want is a bit of bloody fair. And you know what the pantomime is? The pantomime is actually the way an English player gets treated when they get booed. It's almost like they want to set up a helpline. And yet, a foreign player, it happens to them, well, it doesn't matter. Why should I give a shit about that? It's not like Man United have got a rich history with foreign players. We don't need to look after foreign players. No, we don't, do we? Yeah, we've never had a good relationship with foreign players at Manchester United. I mean, it's only absolutely what this club's been all about over the last 25 years of our success. Well, not the last 10 years. So, yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I actually sit here saying, why are we not united as a fan base? Why can't people have one opinion and people have another opinion? And why is there not fairness in that opinion? It's a dictatorship, isn't it? It's fine to boo Pogba and Martial, but you can't boo Maguire. You know, it's fine for the media to slate Martial and Pogba, but you can't do it about Rashford. Like, I've always said this. I've grown up with this. It's very, very clear that the English players get protected way more than the foreign players. And unfortunately, that's driven by somebody, and it's infected the fan base as well, because even some of our fans act like this now. If it's a foreign player, it's open season. If it's an English player, oh my God, it's a disgrace. It's bullying. Somebody think of their mental health. Like, did anybody think about what it must be like to be somebody like Anthony Martial, who is living in a foreign country, constantly being attacked by ex-players from that country, the media, and then the fans as well? What about his mental health? No, it don't matter. He plays for France. He doesn't wear an England shirt. It doesn't matter. And don't tell me I'm wrong, because I'm 100% right, and you know I'm right. There has always been this issue, and it's risen its ugly head again. An England player gets booed, and it's the end of the world. You can't move for journalists talking about it. A foreign player gets booed, it'd be fine. It'll be fine. International break's coming soon. He'll go back to Portugal or France and they'll look after him. But it happens. And I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. Because for me, Doesn't matter if people boo Martial, and it doesn't matter if people boo Maguire. I'm never going to do it. I don't agree with it. But it's one rule for one and it's one rule for another. You forget we got a really, really strong signing called Dividendino, says Calvin, and welcome to the members club, Marcel. Well, look, thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Foreign players are human too. G-Mac, I know you're probably having a laugh, but it's almost like we need to have a campaign, really. Just on that though, I mean, I've sat and watched certain media outlets. I've sat and watched legends of our club speak about certain foreign players of Man United, and they would never in a million years speak like that about any of the English players. Never. They just won't do it. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's a burning anger inside them that they've got an issue. I don't know whether I think it's more likely that they're mates with the English players and probably got them on WhatsApp. I mean, let's not forget, Michael Carrick was at that club for a very long time. Carrick is very close to a lot of these ex-players in the media. So, maybe it's just the English. I certainly don't think it's any xenophobia or anything like that. I know some people think it is. I personally don't think that. I just think it's cliquey. I think if you're an English player or a youth player at Man United, you probably have a close relationship with a lot of people in the media who therefore protect you. I think that happens a lot. It's like when Wayne Rooney was on talking about, on Monday Night Football, talking about Maguire, and I think he said he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got a similar agency or something like that. They may even have the same agent or something like that, because it's just, there's a familiarity which dilutes their opinion. This is why I get quite... It's probably why I don't watch a lot of mainstream media punditry. There is some good stuff out there, but a lot of the time, I know that they're mates with some of these people and they won't speak badly about them. It's like Carragher's never going to say Gerrard should be sacked, is he? It's his mate. Neville admitted it with Solskjaer. I respect that. But, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because I think the most important thing is, and the most important message here is not to castigate or slag people off. I actually think the lesson is here. This is the lesson if you're interested in it. Anthony Martial has been told to get out of our club. He's been told he's lazy. He's been told he's got a bad attitude by fans, by the media. He's been booed. Yeah? He's now having amazing pre-season and everybody is saying, let's give him a chance. Did Martial come out using journalist friends to, say it's a disgrace he got booed? Did he do any statements himself? Did the club come out and help him out? Was there any PR? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing from Martial. No PR. No journalists coming out to protect him. The club didn't say anything about it either. 6 months later, after being booed and told to get out of the club and he's got a bad attitude, he's suddenly the big hope up front because he's the only striker we've got. How has he done that? Hard work. Hard work with Ten Hag answering on the pitch. So you can slag Anthony Martial off all you like. You can call him lazy. You can say he's got a bad attitude. You can say I've never liked him. You can say get out of our club. But he's actually just laid down exactly, for somebody who's lazy, bad attitude and needs to be sold, he's just sent a message to every Man United player in that dressing room. Shut up with your agents, your PR, your journalist friends. Get your head down, work hard, play well, and you won't get booed. You'll actually get praised. Too many of our players want to promote a positive appearance through PR, through their journalist friends. Martial hasn't got any journalist friends. That's probably why he gets called lazy with a bad attitude, because he probably doesn't want to talk to them. He's flipped that around in 6 months from a position many of us didn't think he could. And look, I'm not saying he's going to have a great season, but right here, right now, there's only positive things being said about Martial. And that's the lesson for everybody. So what if he was booed back in January? It wasn't very nice. It wasn't very nice that he didn't get any backing from the club or the media. It wasn't very nice that nobody came out and defended him. But 6 months later, everybody's speaking about how good he is because he's done his talking on the pitch. Too many of our players do their talking through their journalists, through leaks and stuff like that. So I applaud Martial because he's actually shown the path to redemption. And it's not even redemption. He's actually shown the path to recovery and how you can spin things into a positive through performing on the pitch. I'm fed up of being told how to think. I'm fed up of being told what I need to think. I'm fed up of being told I have to like somebody as a footballer when I've watched them as a footballer and I realise that they deserve the criticism. They want the praise, perform on the pitch. I'm not going to praise you because a journalist tells me to praise you. I'm not going to praise you because, an ex-player says it's bullying to keep going on at that player when that ex-player's been going on at a different player, and that's not bullying. They're footballers. They're paid a lot of money to be footballers. Deliver on the pitch and you will get the praise. And that's all we want to do. I can't wait to be in a situation where we watch Man United under Ten Hag beat Liverpool at Anfield by playing better football. And when we're doing the player ratings, every one of those players, no matter who it is, whether it's Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, whoever, they're all getting 8s and 9s. I'm not going to sit there and go, Maguire, 4. What are you on about, Mark? I just don't like him. I just don't like him. He scored 2 goals. He was brilliant. He pocketed Salah. Yeah, but I don't like him, so I'm giving him a 4. I'm going to give him a 10. I'm going to give him a 9. Because all I want, and all you want, is these players to play well in a United shirt. And people overcomplicate that. They think it's, no, rubbish, you just hate that player. No. It's genuinely just, I judge them as footballers. I don't know them as individuals. In fact, if I did know them as individuals, maybe I'd be a bit nicer to them because maybe they'd be able to manipulate me like they do others. But I don't know them as individuals, so I can't dislike them. Neither do you. I can only judge them as footballers. And I want to give them 9 and 10s out of 10. And hopefully I will do at some point. But, Sharon says Ronaldo got rid of Solskjaer. I don't know about that. Spot of that. But look, I thought that was a good story about Martial because I think it's a positive story. And maybe people don't want to listen to that story. But you know what? He was booed in January. He was basically said to get out of the club. He was called lazy many a time. It was said he's got a bad attitude. It was said, let's get rid of him, let's get out of our club. And yet here he is having a renaissance where people are speaking positively about him. There was no PR. There was no protection. There was no media rush to protect Martial and say it was a disgrace that he got booed at Old Trafford. None of that happened. And yet here he is now turning it around. He is the lesson. Well done to Anthony Martial. And maybe, just maybe, people might start thinking about having, instead of being angry all the time, maybe look at the past, look at things pragmatically. Unfortunately, over the last few years, Fellaini's been booed at Old Trafford, Martial's been booed at Old Trafford, and Pogba's been booed at Old Trafford. Yet it's an outrage when Harry Maguire gets booed in an England match or Australia. We've actually booed players at Old Trafford. I think that's worse than anything. That says a lot more about United fans than anything. Booing your own players in your own ground, I just don't agree with that. I absolutely don't. I'm not going to say people don't do it because I've got no right to do that. But I think it's wrong. I don't think you should be booing people at Old Trafford. But it has happened. And it's happened before. I've been at Old Trafford. If you were there in the early noughties, you'll know. I've been at Old Trafford where Ryan Giggs has had absolute pelters because he's took too many players on for the 5th time and lost the ball. Jeering and getting on players' backs actually does happen if you go to matches. It's always happened. But I've never been at Old Trafford and heard someone booed. I haven't. Until over the recent years, it's become more and more prevalent. But maybe it did happen. Maybe some of the older fans will say, no, it did happen. But, it's not breaking news. Definitely not. Anyway, look, it's time to move on. It's time to move on, and therefore it's time to move the show. David says, it's quite clear if you leak info, you get protected. It's not hard to add up. Yeah, Martial doesn't leak information to the journalists because Martial just doesn't do a lot of PR. He just doesn't do it. I've never understood why Martial doesn't, because you look at someone like Rashford, Sancho, successful young men, very marketable, Pogba as well. Martial, I think he falls into that category. I mean, I don't know about looks. I don't think he's a bad-looking guy, and I think he's certainly got that marketability. He's a talented footballer. But he's not interested in all that. He's not interested in the PR. He's not interested in interviews. And, yeah, you know what? If he was, I think he would be protected more. You probably are onto something there. Anyway, we've spoke about transfers. We've wandered into politics, a little bit of football. We'll end it there. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Make sure you tune in for that and the 8 o'clock show as well. How's it looking for the next few days? So basically, Perth are about 7 hours ahead of us, I think. So it's coming up for 6 o'clock at night in Perth at the moment. They had the open training session today at 10 o'clock their time, which was like, 2 o'clock in the morning our time. Press conference tomorrow we'll be waking up for. There is a press conference coming up for tomorrow. And then obviously we're playing Saturday morning against Villa before flying back. So that's the next couple of days. Thanks everyone for watching. You're all legends in the chat. I love these little debates that we have. I think the big takeaway is the De Jong thing. Don't be too worried about that, because Barcelona can get as much money as they want, but their wage bill is not going to get reduced. And that's what they need to do. And that's why they want to sell De Jong. So I'm not worried about Barcelona don't need to sell De Jong. I'm really not. I think they do. Take care. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks.